Welcome to Read Your Comics. Today I'm looking at Wolverine number 90. Thanks for joining me today. I've got a really fun one I'm going to be looking at. This is part of my Age of Apocalypse 30-year retrospective I'm doing on kind of a weekly basis. This book doesn't tie directly into Legion Quest, but it's the last issue of Wolverine that came out before everything got rebooted into the Age of Apocalypse. I guess you'd call them like mini-series. So I wanted to go ahead and cover it, partly just because it's just an awesome Wolverine issue of Wolverine Sabertooth. This was such a big deal. They really heavily promoted this issue, and I don't have it anymore. I can't find it, but they even had these tickets that were kind of like the panoramic card size that looked like it looked like a ticket to a title bout with these painted images on the back. This is an awesome cover that was penciled by Adam Kubert, who did the cover, and then painted by I don't know if both the Hildebrandts or just one of them. Yeah, the Hildebrandt brothers painted over the pencils. And if you follow Adam Kubert on Instagram, he's actually posted a lot of the artwork from this issue on his account, including this covers with the original pencils. So awesome, kind of a double layer cover wraparound here, obviously, with, you've got this going on here and then the painted background image. It's an awkward layout to some degree, but I think it's really striking, and it definitely jumped off the shelf. Other than the two X-Men titles, Wolverine was a book I was picking up pretty regularly. Some things to keep in mind as we jump into this. We're in Bone Claw era. This is Bone Claw Wolverine. You can even kind of see it in the detail right there. Also, this is just a couple issues after that Deadpool issue that gets a lot of attention. And it's the end of an era, so to speak, before it jumps into the Age of Apocalypse. This issue is probably one of the most ambitious single monthly comics I think I've ever seen, too, I have to say. And you'll see why in just a minute if you don't already know. But before I jump in, I just want to give a quick shout out to all the viewer support. All of your likes, shares, and comments are very much appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, why not subscribe? I'll throw a graphic up right here. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Now, let's get into this one here. Like I said, this was a heavily promoted matchup of Wolverine Sabertooth, and you'd think it had been done to death at this point, and I don't know that it really had. Maybe this was like the fourth or fifth time we'd actually seen it on page. You have the Mutant Massacre issues. There's another one about a year after that. You had the Wolverine number 10. And maybe just a couple other times, like a small little skirmishes. But this one was billed as the battle royale of the century. And it kind of is. So Sabertooth also has been captured at this point. He's been in there since, I guess, the Phalanx storyline. And they've been keeping him in a cell in the X-Mansion as a prisoner, and with Xavier and Psylocke too, kind of trying to help break through his mental aggressions that similar to what Wolverine has. And right off the bat, we're gonna get a gatefold page spread. And Wolverine, Sabertooth is just watching TV. You've got Sabertooth there. Sabertooth is watching TV, and Wolverine's kind of outside the cell looking at him. And we got a little glimpse of this back at the beginning of the Legion Quest story, where there was a 2-page spread that showed Wolverine was there he was the only one in the mansion with Sabertooth still in the cell. And he's watching the news of the previous issue where Wolverine had captured this serial killer who had kind of been a fairly reoccurring character, I guess, in the title. And that's why this guy has these slashes across his face here. And the police had been there to arrest him. So that's kind of also an ongoing theme through this issue, is the news coverage of how the police encountered this serial killer or arrested him. is you're going to get some of that through the issue. So, but again, like I said, right off the bat, you got a double page spread. So what's going to happen on the other side? It's going to open up again. This isn't the end of this. And you've got a 4-paneled or 4-page spread going on right here. And that's why I'm saying this is one of the most ambitious monthly issues probably ever. This isn't going to be the only one we're going to see of this. So pretty awesome spread. I mean, the perspective on this too, from the floor looking up to the ceiling to get this perspective on Wolverine here. I love the wild hair that Adam Kubert did on Wolverine. Great musculature and the sinew in his arms and everything right here happening of Sabertooth. I mean, this is something to know is Sabertooth is just a normal clothes right here too. That changes in the issue coming as it goes along. Larry Hama, longtime Wolverine writer, doing the script, but maybe he let Adam Kubert kind of go at it in this. Adam Kubert is the pencils, Mark Farmer and Dan Green doing the inks. So because there's these pages, the next page too has to be a spread, right? So Sabertooth crashes into the force-filled cell wall. Is this Wolverine, his hair is just naturally sticking back like that, or is it supposed to be wind from the energy blowing off of this? And you get Sabertooth, he doesn't just hit it and fall off. I mean, he's like trying to push his way through, and you see it's in pain, so his words are staggered out. But even right here, you see him like forcing his way almost through it. I guess it is wind, because there when he goes backwards, his hair goes back the other way. But you can tell it's hurting Sabertooth, but he's not stopping. He's still trying to get out. So far, those anger management courses he's had at the X Mansion aren't panning out. Almost everything in this is like a 2-page spread like this. So here's the stuff about the news, about the Linus, the heinous, the serial killer. This is him on the TV in the background. Pretty ugly looking dude. Can't really see those scratches on his face as much on this page. See, it burned Sabertooth's hair off. So Wolverine's kind of like, all right, you're safe in your cell. I'm just gonna go. I'll be back to check on you later if you need anything. And then you get Wolverine's little montage of him. He's working out. I like him doing the speed bag here. He's eating like a steak. This is pretty interesting. Like layout here. He's got his little samurai ponytail, I guess you call it. There's probably a name for it, but that's very 90s. It's not a man bun because it's not tied up in the bun. He just has it pulled back. And again, they're just following the story about the serial killer here, and it starts to get into about like police brutality and stuff. And Wolverine's like, didn't look like he was coming along too peaceably, Trish. See, more double page spread. Frank Miller kind of made this a big thing with the news reports going on, and they've got the police talking about, the excessive force they had to use. You have a psychologist that's debating it. Wolverine just kind of hanging out, watching TV, drinking beers, eating ice cream, chilling out. He's going to go to bed. He's going to think about it for a minute, and then something hits him. It's something the shrink said. It was what the shrink said. And so he goes on. He's going to go downstairs, but there's Sabertooth. He's watching it too. And you see, time to do it. And so you think right here, he means it's like Wolverine must be there. He's ready to do it. He's ready to fight. That's not what it is. Before we do it, let's look at these cards. I must have opened this one at some point. What do we got in here? We didn't get the Wolverine foil card. That's the one I'm looking for. Got this one earlier. I don't even know who this character is. Kind of cyborg character. The mutant prelate of Lord Apocalypse had a soul. I don't even know who that character is. Chevere? I don't know. Not a very good card in that one. Last time I got a cool John Romita Professor X card. This time I got random character. Yeah, I guess I opened this one or something happened. It's ripped right there. I don't remember opening it in the past. Anyway, so like I said, I like the pan up here too. Starting out high, coming in a little closer. You can see his hair hasn't completely grown back from hitting the force field earlier. Time to do it. And you think Wolverine's there, but no, it means he's just gonna run at it again. He's put his costume on here. He didn't have his costume on before. He had like a tank top and jorts on, but now he's put his costume on. I guess they gave it to him. Why would they give him his costume to do it? And he hits it again and fails again. Look at him grin. He's even like grinning right there. Like he tried it. Yeah, ha ha. Lordy pie. Lordy pie. Double page spread again. Sideways. When this is going to be common as we get into the Age of Apocalypse. Almost all the books have this like turn it sideways thing, especially Adam Kubert. He must have loved drawing big like that, and a lot of his books turn sideways like this at least twice during an issue. It's kind of funny. Look at this up the nose shot. Gil Kane would have been proud of that one. So Wolverine's here, and he's brought these restraints for Sabertooth, which these restraints have some pretty sharp tips on the ends of his claws. I mean, that's obviously to like keep his mouth covered up. But he wants to put these restraints on. I guess he got through. I guess Sabertooth, it goes shoom, and he got through this time. Yeah, it broke. And that's why I guess Wolverine's wanting to put the restraints on him. He's like, you're going to put these restraints on peacefully? And then they bring up something about his past, too. So there was a Sabertooth miniseries that came out shortly before this that Mark Teixeira did the art in, and I don't remember who the writer was off the top of my head. I want to say Howard Mackey, maybe. Anyway, I do have a video on the first issue of that, and it's a pretty good miniseries that dives into Sabertooth's history a little bit. How much of that holds up post Wolverine's origin, I don't really know. But anyway, and when he was a kid, he got locked in the basement. And he's like, "That's what your parents did to you. It wasn't. That's what your parents did to you, wasn't it?" And he's like, "Oh, I took care of them." And then here's where the brawl starts. This is it. This is the main event happening, and it moves pretty quick. This is a cool spread that keeps panels going. Not all of it has to be just one giant image. So here you've got a 3-page spread, more or less, but lots of panels along the way. And I like how, again, it zooms in. It starts far away up here. And as each panel or each row really gets a little closer. That one gets real close there. Breaks the rules a little bit. Or maybe even along the side, he's got kind of a theme going for each one. Good shot of Wolverine there. You can tell it's his bone claws going there. I like this. I like the bend of it. And this is something where I think Adam Kubert has really come into his own around, probably a little bit before this actually, but around this time, because when he took on this title, he was doing a little bit of Mark Silvestri cloning, and at this point he's more experimental than Andy, I feel like, and this is definitely one of those experiments. And we're gonna go ahead and open it up into another 4-panel page that I love this part. I love this part of the page. I don't love this part of the page. Because of the way his face smashes on there. It gets weird. It gets too weird. I love the hand coming up front. It's just the face and the forehead. Like everything about that just it's strange, right? Like the splat. But the Wolverine looks freaking awesome. I mean, he'd put his mask on, and it's half ripped off, and just a scream. I mean, that is an awesome shot of Wolverine right there. And then we get the final page where Wolverine has him pinned up. This is a great layout here, too. I love the circle in the middle to bring it all together. Wolverine has 2 claws out. He's knocked a tooth out with Sabertooth. And Sabertooth's like, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep coming. Kitty Pryde, Jean Grey, Jubilee, Cyclops, Aurora, all of them. I'm coming for all of them. You better go ahead and pop that claw. And he's really taunting him because he doesn't think he'll do it. I don't know. You know, he thinks Wolverine's soft. He thinks Wolverine's the runt. And there's no way he does that. He's like, do it. And then you get the schlucked, which is the sound. Well, it says schlicked, actually. I guess shucked is when it goes back in. Schlicked is the bone claw sound instead of snicked. And then you get this panel where it's like crystallized and cracking, and that's the signal that the Legion Quest part of this has ended. So if you watch the video I did on cable number 20 last week, and it ended with the crystal stuff kind of taking over, this is simultaneous. This is happening right at that time. So this was such a huge cliffhanger of this book. Here it is. It looks like he's maybe killed Sabertooth. I mean, he's stuck a claw straight up under his chin. And I mean, the cracking of his eye, the way his eye looks, it looks like he did Sabertooth in for good this time. And we're gonna cancel the book and start it over in a whole new universe. So, I mean, I remember reading this and being like, wow, what an ending to Wolverine, right? Because now we're starting this new X-Men status quo going forward. I don't think it was well known that it was just going to be a 4-month event at that point. They had kind of promoted it at this point, like this is the new thing for X-Men. And probably weren't going to know that it was just a temporary thing for at least another month before the solicitations started coming out and looked like the story would wind down. But yeah, this was a big moment in Wolverine history. I felt like I do love this issue. There's a lot of kind of so-so stuff around this time in the Wolverine title. I feel like the Silvestri and Kubert did great work on the title, but this issue in particular, I think, is one of the best. I think it lives up to the billing of a solid. It's got a lot of like kind of psychology, psychobabble stuff with the serial killer plot running in the news and it relating to Sabertooth and Wolverine and their relationship and everything. And this is before, I forget what, I don't really know what their status is anymore. I know at one time Claremont and Byrne intended for Sabertooth to be Wolverine's father. And that's why in Wolverine number 10, he would show up on Wolverine's birthday to torment him because he thought he was a runt and not worthy of his lineage, I guess. And I like that origin of Wolverine and Sabertooth way better than whatever the story is they did with, like, I don't know, Dog and James Howlett and all that stuff. I like that part of Wolverine's origin. I'll be honest, I tune that out of my brain. I look at Weapon X as the main origin of Wolverine and what Claremont and Byrne have said about the relationship of these two, and I just keep that as my headcanon. That's just how it goes. Anyway, getting into Age of Apocalypse coming up soon, so until next time, read your comics.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my breakdown of this issue, you can support the channel by hitting subscribe. It costs you nothing and helps other comic fans find the channel. You can also visit readyourcomics.com for cool merch, like this. Read Your Comics isn't just a brand, it's a mantra. And when you wear a Read Your Comics shirt, you are helping spread the word. For more classic comics conversation, be sure to follow me on Instagram at read.your.comics. And if you're still here, why not watch one of my older videos? Here or here.